Financial crisis, lesson number 5, March 27th, 2009. I certainly hope you've watched the first 4 lessons. We talked about credit, we talked about greed, we talked about individual responsibility, we talked about a lot of things. A lot of things for you to think about. But I'm going to backtrack even further. Do you remember when you were younger and hopefully your mother, your father had read you some stories and you learned some lessons? Very simplistic lessons and stories. Simplistic in that they were wholesome and real, and easy to understand. But yet the lessons and the morals and the values associated with them have been lost by many, many people. Some have learned and hung on. Most haven't. Do you remember the story of the tortoise and the hare, turtle and the rabbit? You think you know where I'm going with this story? Think again. Certainly the lesson learned. The race between the tortoise and the hare. The little turtle went slow, paced himself, and the rabbit laughed at the turtle because he could run faster. And the rabbit, of course, got arrogant, cocky, because he knew he could outrun the tortoise. But because he was so arrogant and cocky, he didn't simply finish the race. He ran around, he slept, he made fun of the tortoise, he eventually fell asleep. Thought the tortoise would never catch up. But the little tortoise, the little turtle, smart, devoted, patient, inch by inch, step by step, intact, continued on, past the sleeping rabbit, and won the race. But it's not about a race. It's not about beating the hare. It's about the wise little tortoise, the little turtle, who went at his own pace. He used his own thoughts, his own morals and values. Slow, sure, steady, confident. While his rival, the rabbit, the hare, was cocky, arrogant, spendthrift. Take it to another level. The hare believed he had it all. He could win, he could do whatever he wanted. Take it to another level. He could spend whatever he wanted. He could invest wherever he wanted. He could do whatever he wanted. But not through his own power. Perhaps he believed that not only did he have his own power, but because he had some little bit of power, received some power, he could let other people, other rabbits, other hares, look after him and laugh and dance. Because no matter what he did, he'd always win. Times were good. Didn't matter what he spent. It didn't matter where he laughed. It didn't matter where he did. It didn't matter where he slept. It would always last. But the wise little turtle, the wise little tortoise knew it may not always last. He has to rely on his own abilities, his own pace, his own thoughts, his own morals, his own values to get where he's going. Slow and sure, steady. And in the end, it's not that the tortoise and the little turtle won. It's that he persevered and lived within himself and his means and what he was. Do you understand what I'm getting at? A world, a country, a society of rabbits and hares in this scenario, running free and wild, believing they can dance and party and spend with no consequences, because it'll always be there. It doesn't matter. And a minority of little turtles and tortoises, slow and sure, living within their means, confident in themselves, going along at their own pace, with virtually no problems. Why is that? Does it have anything to do with this financial crisis? How can it, you say? That's a silly scenario, is it? Why haven't we learned and practiced these lessons that we've been taught? And why are people choosing to be like the hare or the rabbit as opposed to the turtle, the tortoise? Ponder that, and we'll continue on with lesson number 6.